What's up, everybody? We are going to talk about 3 keys to understanding your dreams. And I love this subject because dreams can be such a powerful tool. But if you're like me, you're going to have to go on a journey of learning how to even want to use dreams because I used to hate to interpret things. I didn't like puzzles. I didn't like to try and figure things out. But I learned how powerful and empowering dreams could be. And I remember one of my first series of dreams, because you're going to have series of the same kind of symbolism in dreams. I had a series of dreams, and it would always be in the front of this old church I belonged to. There's a big boulder there, and somebody would be sitting on or standing on the boulder, and God would speak to me about that person. The boulder always represented something, the church represented something, and the person either represented something or was literal. And as a matter of fact, my best friend, who I didn't know at the time, was sitting on the boulder at one point, and he was young. He was 18 years old at the time. And God said, I'm going to give you stewardship over this young man's life, and he's going to be a rock in your life. And it was that big boulder he's sitting on. He's going to be a rock in your life for the spiritual principles I have for you. And so I had this whole dream about it, and I knew to invite him to come to Kansas City when I lived in Kansas City to be part of the Bible school based on a dream. Well, we're now 20 whatever years later, and he's one of my best friends. I'm so glad I have him in my life. But it all started with a dream, and I love how dreams can be that literal. Sometimes they can be literal, but most of the times they're symbolic. So let's get into it. 3 ways to interpret dreams. And the first one is this dream about me or someone else? That's the first key. You got to figure out, who is this dream about? Most of the time, the dream is about you. I don't know if you knew that, but there's always a subcategory, someone else it's about as well, like a sub-focus. But most of the time, the dream's about you. And we can figure that out by, are you the observer? Are you the participant? Participate.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Are you the participant, or are you the main focus? And if you're the participant or the main focus, it's probably about you. If you're the observer, it still can be about you, but it might also be about somebody else too. Now, here's the deal. You're going to write down the dream and write down everything you remember about it, because some of those sub points that you're not even thinking are important because your brain's not there today. When you look at it 3 days from now, you're going to say, oh my gosh, that was the key. I didn't even realize that was a key because I'm learning how to interpret. But my main focus was this, because that's how I related to the dream. That was the thing that had the most relationship to my emotions at the time or my thoughts at the time. But as you go back and look at it, even a dream from a year ago, you're going to see it differently when you write it out. So one of the keys is to write it out. So figuring out who the object of the dream is. Number 2, we're going to learn our signs and symbols. God has a signs and symbols database for each one of us. It's our very own school of the Spirit. Each sign and symbol may mean something very different to you than it does to me. So for me, dogs in a dream represent loyal companionship, friendship, whatever else. To you, you may hate dogs. And so in a dream, it means vicious attacker, somebody you have to protect yourself against. Like someone may come as a dog in your dream, and it means be careful with that relationship because they might bite you. But for me, a dog might mean, this is going to be one of the closest friends you ever have. So we have to know our own symbols and types. Of course, there's law of first mention, which is one of the main interpretation skills that many people teach. I think it's very amazing. It means that the first time something appeared in the scripture, you can look back at that and see that that could be a common theme throughout your symbols and types. But we don't want to limit it to that. I mean, we know that in the Bible, blue means revelation over and over and over, but blue might mean something different to you. It might mean an ocean of possibilities. It might mean something else. So we have to look at each symbol and type and care about them for us personally. It's okay to individualize and say, God, what do you mean? So here's some common ones that you may or may not have had, like teeth falling out. That could represent to one person your ability to not understand a subject that God's bringing into your life. It can mean to someone else that you're going from baby to mature ability to swallow and process. It could mean to somebody else it was the wisdom teeth and you're lacking wisdom in a decision, or somebody else it was the wisdom teeth and it means that you're about to get new wisdom for new ideas to be able to process those ideas fully and implement them into life. So it can mean a lot of different things for a lot of people, but typically it's similar. And then we have hair falling out. Maybe you need new covering, or maybe you're in a season of wisdom and maturing. Pregnancy could mean you're birthing something new in your life. It could mean new creation or creativity. It could be a project, like a book project. It could be an entrepreneurship. Pregnancy could also mean that one of your relationships is becoming very fruitful, and together you're creating more life. And so it could represent you and your best friend, you and a spouse. That's something, you're pregnant together with something that's purposeful in this season. It could be taking a test. Taking a test could mean you're going through something that God wants to really train you through. I've had a lot of friends come to me and say, I'm having these dreams over and over that I'm taking different types of tests and I don't feel qualified. And that's actually a good thing most of the time in the spirit for somebody. If you don't feel qualified for what God's calling you into, yay, you win, because he calls those who are unqualified to do things that they're not qualified for, to displace the wisdom of the wise. So this could be a very good thing. But the good thing about tests is that you're either going to pass it, or if you fail it, you get to take it again. And that's how God is. He'll bring it back to you. Flying. Flying can represent coming to new heights in an experience. It could represent coming up above something that you would normally walk in. You're coming up above in a new perspective. Perspective is a big flying word. It could mean that a new career is coming or something, a promotion's coming that's beyond what you could normally attain in the natural. And then we have all the clothing ones. You know, like there's wearing a wedding dress could represent you're coming to covenant partnership with somebody. It could be shorts. You don't have a full capacity yet in your message or in who you are. You know, cultural clothes could be intercession, or you're going to have impact in another culture. You're going to be a cross-cultural person. There's so many things that those can mean. Like just clothing means so many different things that can apply in ways that will cause you to see your season that you're in differently, especially if these dreams are about you. It's going to help you to relate to the world around you with more impact and more effect. So learn the symbols that you have and write them down. Sometimes learning means over 200 or 300 dreams over the next 5 years. You're writing down different symbols that start to carry a similar theme for you in dreams, and it helps you to understand how God's relating to you in the first place. If you're only going to look at one dream at a time and you're like, well, I have one dream a year, then that's all you're going to have. You don't have faith for more. You don't have capacity for more. People tell me all the time, I don't dream very much. It's because you're not harnessing your dreams. You're not stewarding your dreams. So why would God give you more if you don't even care about the ones he's given you? He wants to give you dreams to give you impact, which is beautiful. So go after dreams. Number 3, this is the third key in pursuing dreams. After the first key being who's it about? The second key, do you know your signs and symbols? Do you know how to interpret those? The third key is, what is the tone of the dream? Is it fear-based and ominous, or is it victorious and exciting and hope-filled? And either one could still be God. So it may be fear-based and ominous. Maybe there's a warning in it, or it could be something that's you're about to go on an adventure. But sometimes when you look at the whole dream, it's different than the first glance. So make sure to look back at it. Your first tone maybe in the dream was, oh my gosh, somebody's trying to get me. But when you look back on it, it's actually God's trying to apprehend something in my life. And it feels scary at first, but it's actually going to really help me in life. Now, God's never going to come as a serial killer in your dream, but there's times that he will play hide and seek with you in a dream, and all of a sudden he finds you, and it's startling. And some people have misinterpreted what God's doing because they haven't thought of his good nature. So in all the dreams, look at it in light of God is good, his nature's good, and he wants to do something that's good for you. And always measure your dreams against that. You're meant to be powerful in dreaming. You're meant to have this as a powerful device. I love Acts 2, where it talks about, I think it's Acts 2:17, where it says, you know, God is going to give young men visions and old men dreams. And Daniel 1:17, it says that Daniel was given the ability to interpret visions and dreams of all types. This is part of what God wired you for, is to interpret his nature. And he comes through symbolism because it reveals not just to do something for him, but how to have his character and nature built within you. So you do something with him, not just for him. And that's one of the reasons why he uses symbolism, because he wants to, like Matthew 18:18 says, is he wants to condition your heart and bring a slow inspiration to you where he gently nudges you versus just trying to get you as a dictator to do something for him as a slave or servant mentality. He's trying to actually nudge you into readiness to understand how to cooperate and build with him. And I want to encourage you that this can be fun with friends. You guys can put dreams on a table and start to interpret them together. I mean, I think the greatest times of interpretation I've ever had is when I have friends who like to interpret dreams, and we pull out a dream and we start to talk about it, and we go so deep and we get so much more meaning because God made this also for community. And so try to interpret dreams with friends. Keep a scriptural base. Try and find it back in scripture, or at least the prototype of how God was doing things. Don't use, new age mediums. Don't use angel websites. Use just the Bible, your spiritual common sense. Use, you can use psychology as well. Psychology can be helpful sometimes in dreams, but go after the spiritual rootedness of what the dream can mean in the first place. And you're going to have such a healthy, wonderful participation with what dreams can be for your life. These are your 3 keys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, share it with someone you love. And also comment on a dream you've had that you're looking for some keys for interpretation, and we can all try and interpret them together. Or look at the comments and see if there's someone who's looking for an interpretation and give your best shot to it. Thank you guys so much.